Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my review for the series premiere of Tell Me a Story. Alright, so after that amazing trailer, or at least I thought it was pretty great. The trailer for this series that was debuted at Comic-Con, I believe, got quite a bit of buzz, and I checked it out. I thought it was really intriguing, really captured my attention for this series. I kind of heard, little things about it, but then when that trailer dropped, I'm like, okay, I gotta check this out, right? This is something that looks really interesting and has to do with the fairy tale aspect and all that stuff and the kind of the more dark aspect of the fairy tales. So I thought, really, I want to check this out. But it also gave me a little bit maybe too high of an expectation for the series and for this premiere. And so anyways, we'll dive into that. So share some of my thoughts, good and bad, of the premiere here, and then some more overall thoughts with a rating, maybe to what we're going to see in the future of this series, and also just kind of some overall thoughts coming out of this premiere. So anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the episode. If you've seen it already, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think we're going to see going forward? And if you haven't seen it, I will be going over just light spoilers in this review, so you should be fine. I don't think it'll affect your enjoyment of the episode, and maybe you'll check it out after watching this review. So anyways, guys, also please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy this review. So anyways, this series comes to us from Kevin Williamson, and he's the creator of this one, and he was also the co-creator and writer on Vampire Diaries. So then he also created Dawson's Creek, and he wrote the screenplay for Scream 4. So that gives us a little bit of background of what kind of theme they're going for with this show. I saw a lot of parallels, although I haven't seen all of Vampire Diaries. I have seen kind of episodes and clips of it, right? And it does, and just, sort of the buzz around the show too, it kind of feels like that. This really does feel like a CW show, but it's on CBS All Access, right? So it's a little bit different in the fact that it's kind of a CW show with the same, themes, concepts a little bit, but they kind of go all the way, right? They don't really hold back because they have that freedom that CBS All Access gives them. So in that sense, I feel like it's maybe kind of a CW, kind of a HBO version of a CW show in a way, right? Although we're not seeing fully nudity or whatever, but some of this stuff would not be shown on the CW for sure. So anyways, that just gives us a little bit of background of what we can maybe expect going forward and what we can expect in this premiere episode from a guy like Kevin Williamson. So, and he is really great. I mean, he's, pretty well known, and for him developing Vampire Diaries, Dawson's Creek, to now, say what you want to say about the shows, but they both lasted quite a long time and were pretty successful in terms of ratings and popularity. So enough said, right? So first of all, I loved the intro theme. I mean, wow. Like, that is one of the best intro themes I have seen for a show in a while. I mean, Westworld is maybe comparable, but honestly, I really love the new Walking Dead intro, I guess, this fall, but it was amazing. So there's really great art in it. The whole thing is kind of art. There's no real footage of anything. And it's really alluding to the different types of fairy tale stories that they're going to be depicting in the show. That was awesome. Like, it may even have been the best part of this episode. Sad to say, but it may have been the best part of this episode because it was very, very good and unexpected. I didn't expect something like that for this type of show. So I don't know, maybe they got an artist who really was keen on this and wanted to do it, and that's what happened. But either way, man, it looks really great. So I think I could be wrong, but I think I've seen some of it on Twitter, so maybe it's up there too, that you can go check that out. But or watch the episode, and it's at the beginning. So just going into this before even seeing the premiere, a lot of fan favorites in this cast, right? So we get Paul Wesley from the Vampire Diaries. We get James Woke, who I'm a big fan of, from Zoo, and he's been in a couple other things. He was in Billions, had a small role in that that I've seen him in. We get Danielle Campbell, who was in the Originals show, and then we get Billy Magnuson, who was in, Get Shorty. He was in Maniac just recently on Netflix. He's played a lot of kind of small roles, but in some pretty big shows like Maniac. So Billy Magnuson is great too. And that's just 4 names, but pretty much the whole main cast are pretty well-known, actors and actresses in this kind of realm, right, of the Vampire Diaries, the Originals, all these kind of actors are connected in a way to Kevin Williamson and his type of storytelling, and I feel like for that reason, I think they're great for this show because they kind of, seamlessly fit into these roles. So, anyways, that is just great right off the bat, seeing that cast and seeing these actors on screen as well in the premiere. I think these four in particular did a really, really good job in this episode. So, then we get a little bit into the premiere. So they are introducing so many twists and turns just in this premiere that I really liked. I thought this was maybe the best thing about the episode or the premiere here, is that it's connecting all of these individual characters together. So, we see one character at the very beginning for a minute, right? And then we see another character. And then slowly throughout the episode, these characters are actually connected, and we learn that they actually know each other, right? And so this was really great. I kind of reminded me of something like a Valentine's Day, the movie, right? Where they have all these different characters, and then by the end of the movie, they all connect them, and the story kind of comes, twofold, right? All comes together. And so that's what I kind of thought of this episode, and I really like that kind of storytelling. So for me, I thought it was really great. So a couple examples here: the jewelry store at the end, right? With, we see the three, guys, the pig mask guys right at the very beginning of the episode, or we see at least two of them planning it. And then they go to the jewelry store at the end of the episode, and they are there for when it happens. So I'm not going to spoil too much other than that. But yeah, so that's all connected. Then we see the guy at the bar who Kayla sleeps with ends up actually being someone important to her at school. I'm gonna try to hold back here, but anyway, so just some more twists like that in this episode that you wouldn't think at first. You're like, okay, they're just here's a character, but throughout the episode they're slowly kind of connected, and I get the idea that all of these characters that we meet in this episode are either connected or will be connected throughout this series. So really great job in that. I thought maybe the best thing about the show was that. The way that they're able to connect these storylines and kind of push it together in one direction with all these different characters. Really great stuff, right? Maybe the one negative, though, of this show, and something that a lot of people have pointed out after this premiere, is there wasn't a lot of fairy tale building in this episode. There were some subtle references, but not really plot lines. I mean, this, a couple subtle references was, the grandma holds a red coat up to Kayla, who's about to leave the house, maybe setting her up, and then she has a wolf tattoo, that we see on her body a little bit later. That's another subtle reference. Of course, the three men wearing pig masks, of course, that's a reference, but there was nothing really, similar to actual fairy tale stories in this episode, which I expected. So I'm not sure where that is. Maybe that'll be coming in later. But in this premiere, I just felt like they've advertised this as a fairy tale story, right? Tell me a story, and it's about that. But all this was kind of just teasing some references there, and to see if you caught them, pretty much, not the story. So anyways, I may be totally missing something. I'm not totally familiar with all these fairy tales. I'm not kind of up to date. I haven't familiarized myself with them lately. So maybe I missed a couple things, and maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe they're trying to kind of slide these things in really subtly, and see if people notice. But I noticed a couple of them, but that's about it. So anyways, that's maybe the biggest negative of this show. It's advertised as a fairy tale story show, and there wasn't really any of that in this premiere. So again, we'll have to see. Time will tell, and see, we'll tell, and let's see if it's in the other episodes. So anyways, I guess we'll see, right? So I did think there was a handful of kind of unlikable characters that are pretty one-dimensional. We saw a little bit, James Woke's character, his girlfriend, right? She was one of these kind of unlikable characters, and a lot of politics, though, in this episode, too. So if you don't agree with the politics, maybe this will be, it doesn't mean that you can't watch it, but they do, definitely provide a little bit of politics in this about, Trump and the current stuff, because what they're trying to do, right, is get these fairy tales into the modern world. And let me tell you, they're doing a really great job of capturing that modern world. So yeah, definitely great there. But yeah, so just her with the whole politics thing really one-dimensional. And throughout the episode, she does kind of change at the end, but again, it's still really kind of repetitive. So a couple of unlikable characters, but to make up for that, there's some really good ones too, who are dynamic characters, who we already see just in this premiere, changing their minds, stories actually building these characters and developing them, instead of, maybe just certain characters just hell-bent on the same thing and using the same reasoning for every single situation, which was what happened with James Wilkes' girlfriend's character. So anyways, a couple of characters that are very unlikable, but is what it is. And I don't mean just unlikable as they were kind of villains. No, I just think her character wasn't developed right. So anyways, that's what it is. A couple cliches, but what can you really expect, right? I mean, a lot of shows do this with the cliches. You have a new girl in school cliche in this one. She hooks up with a guy at a bar. It seems like it's nothing, a one-night stand type of thing. So there's a lot of cliches in this, but I didn't think they really hindered the enjoyment. I think definitely it's worth pointing out that they were there. But it wasn't too bad, right? It wasn't like the whole thing was a cliche. I think it's definitely an original story that they're building here, but just kind of copping out with a couple cliches put in here, while they could have maybe went with a more original, aspect to some of these things for sure. But anyways, one of the other positives for this one was it did show us a wide swath of characters from all different backgrounds, right? We have a gay man working in I guess it wasn't really a strip club, but it was, some sort of that as a club, right? We have it sounds like a Latino or a Latina, gym trainer, right? We have a restaurant owner, we have a chef, right? All these different, people kind of coming together, and again, they're all connected. So really great job of showing this wide, diverse group of characters in the show, but still being able to bring them all together and somehow connecting them, which is crazy, right? It's really great. So that, again, talks back to the connecting stuff. Really great in this premiere and great in the series too. So anyways, I think it's going to be more of a thriller as it goes on ultimately, and develop more of these fairy tales. So maybe it's going to be something that takes a little time to get into what its subject is, and I don't really blame them. You don't want to kind of blow all your story in the first couple episodes, for sure not, right? And so you want to build these things, and maybe that's what they're doing here, and I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt for the fairy tale stuff, because maybe it's coming soon. So anyways, ultimately, I had high expectations going in after the trailer, and I don't think they were quite met, at least with the premiere yet. So anyways, I do kind of find myself guilty of that I went in with expectations a little bit too high for what this show was and what the show was going to be, and I kind of felt, guilty of that. But anyways, it is what it is. Overall, I believe this is a series that rests on a diverse group of characters, right, that are all somehow connected in this intriguing yet somber storytelling of fairy tales, familiar fairy tales, in modern times. So anyways, and again, it's in modern New York too, so something that they definitely play on that a little bit at the subway station, and definitely you can see the atmosphere and the locations in New York. So anyways, they play on that a little bit too, and ultimately, big positive out of this one was the characters and the introduction of the characters, and then also the connecting of the characters with all these kind of twists and turns as this premiere goes. I would say the biggest negative would be that there was a huge lack of fairy tale storytelling when that is what this show is advertised as. So it is what it is. In terms of a rating for this one, I'm going to give it a 4.0 out of 5, 4.0 out of 5, which is kind of relatively low for my rating scale. I typically don't go below 3.5 for anything. Just how my rating kind of goes. But anyways, again, lack of fairy tale features in this episode, but at the end of the day, it was entertaining. I have to say, it was an entertaining 55 minutes of television, and definitely some good stuff building here, and we'll have to see going forward what it turns into. So anyways, I think a lot of people I think we should have faith in Kevin Williamson. I think he deserves that. I think he's definitely got that after Vampire Diaries, Dawson's Creek, and Scream 4 and his other projects. I think he deserves our faith in him as a writer and creator. So we'll have to see. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this review of Tell Me a Story on CBS All Access. Again, have to see. I'm looking forward to the next few episodes here. I probably won't have reviews on the channel for those, but if I do keep up and I'm watching the season, I will be back for the end of the season to give kind of a recap. So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned. So anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching this review. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Can't thank you guys enough. The subscribers, views, likes, comments, everything like that. Really awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. Truly, I really appreciate it. So anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next review. To shout out feeling low.